quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold episode, The Roots of Ruin, I should say. That's the name of the series. Tabletop Gold is merely the name of the group that's making the series. Sorry, I got frightened there for a second. I'm Lars Casteen. Hi.
Frightened 2.
Frightened 2. Hello. That's me. And now I'm frightened 1. And now I'm fine. I'm joined today by the only 4 people I would want to be on this call with right now, and those 4 people are Robin, Lange.
Good that time.
David, the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good that time, Lars.
Zoe, Chernicoff.
Good that time.
And Matt, Humphreys.
Good that time.
Good that time. We're going to get into a little bit of this is something that I don't know exactly what's going to do. This is something that I don't know exactly how it's going to work. I'm going to, before we get into our game, okay, let's just back it on up, guys. Let's just be normal for a second.
Rewind. You're having a time.
I'm really nervous about this episode. I'm like, town episodes are really hard for me. Like, cause like with a dungeon, I'm just like, well, if we don't know what else is going to happen, I can have a monster kick down a door and we can just do an encounter for a while. But I get real nervous getting prepared for town stuff, and because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what we're going to do. It's a mystery.
Who knows? We could force you to make a whole new character at the drop of a hat in a bar where you have to come up with a name and backstory for them.
To be honest, the thing that I'm worried about is that you're not going to do that. The thing that I'm most worried about is that like I'm going to have nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. If you pitch a nonsense curveball at me, then at least I can flail and like figure that out.
All right. So then what we need is like a code word. Like if you're ever feeling particularly where you feel like things are getting kind of languid, you can just say popcorn and we'll immediately invent triplets with really similar names and really intense attributes, intricate backstory. and that way, there won't be any dead time.
Yeah. Wayne, Kane, and Lane.
There they are.
We'll save it for the show, guys. Okay, but here's what we're going to do
we're
before
on the show.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, good. Here's what we're going to do today before we get into our game. We've talked at some great length on this program about artificial intelligences. Zoe just discovered I don't even know what it is that she discovered. It seems to me like she discovered a dragon's horde of AI chatbots, AI representations of various figures from I don't even know from what. History, fiction.
I discovered mainline channels to famous people.
That's what this is. It's chatbots that give you that sell you the product of talking to famous people, right?
And it seems to be free so far.
Okay, so Zoe, what are we doing today? We're playing a little bit of a game. What are we doing?
Each of you gets one question, and I really encourage you to have it be sort of a personal, existential question of your own, rather than like, who are you or what does your last name rhyme with? Mm-hmm. And then I'll read the answer out to your question, and then you all need to guess who the famous person might be for each of the 4 questions that will be posed.
So this is like Guess Who, but with AI, kind of.
And all of people from all of history.
And all people from history.
It's like 20 questions, but it's one question.
So, okay, so let's do one of these. If we've got time left over, we'll do another one, and we'll see how many we can get done. But let's play... Let's play the game, not the game that we normally play.
Chatbot Bonanza.
Chatbot Bonanza. Okay, let's go.
All right, who's got a question?
I can go.
All
I
right.
can go.
What you got?
And folks at home, play along too. Come up with your own guesses. Say them out loud while you're riding the subway.
If you're out in public, try not to indicate to those around you in any way that you're listening to a podcast. Just begin saying the names of famous people loudly.
Perfect. That's how you
see if you can get it
participate
right.
this week. David, what's your question?
All right, my question is, Mystery AI chatbot.
So respectful.
I'm not going to say that because that might offend this person. They have a name.
What
Yeah, they don't know that we don't know who they are.
what advice would you give to a young person trying to find their way in life?
No,
This is
such a
so
good
much.
question.
I'm already having a blast.
Same.
All right.
Same.
I've got the 3 dots while they come up. This is also a great question for this person. All right. Oh, wow. It's typing a lot. Okay.
Little bit of a hint there, but okay.
All right. I think the greatest advice I could give would be to follow your passion and intuition. I think it's really important to take time to pause and reflect and ask yourself what it is that you're passionate about and follow what that is. But also, it's important to remember you can create your own path and follow your own unique dreams.
Okay. I have a guess.
All right.
I think this is Oprah Winfrey.
That's exactly my guess.
Oh, interesting.
Robin,
Okay.
Robin made a face too.
I was thinking of the same genre, but I'm forgetting her name. Brene Brown. That's who I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I think I was getting similar kind of personality. I was thinking Gwyneth Paltrow and like her wellness.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Great
Sure.
cast.
In the
Company.
Okay,
Goop
so
Empire.
that seems like
Exactly.
I'm getting a sort of like contemporary
Yep.
American female public figure with a wellness self-care vibe, like
Mhm.
like an Oprah or a Gwyneth Paltrow or a John Cena or like someone.
No, but
Okay.
John Cena on Twitter, not John Cena on Instagram, because those are very different personalities that he puts on those two.
Or yeah.
But you know what? He's a delight.
He's one of the greatest. I love him. So let's ask another question. Does anybody have a question to go
Oh, wait,
on?
wait. No. We're not asking the same person. You
Yeah,
all
now
get
we
to-
got to find out.
Now
who
we
it
got to
is.
reveal who that was, and then someone else is going to ask a question that's
Yeah,
going to a different famous person.
Okay, sure. Let's do it.
So that was famous person Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, okay.
Huh.
Which at first I was like, this is kind of generic and doesn't feel like Keanu. But then I was trying to think about how Keanu would answer it, and I think it was pretty good.
It's pretty
He's
good.
like,
Maybe
I
the
feel like
first-
I feel like he's
Yeah.
actually kind of a kind, giving person.
He comes
Yeah.
off very deep on talk show appearances. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, anyways, that he's like channeling a little bit of Brene and Oprah. I think I'm okay with it. At first, I was kind of annoyed, but I think I'm here for it.
Well, let me be the first to say, or Armat, maybe you're going to say it with me. Whoa.
Whoa.
I know.
All right, who's got a question? Lars, you got a question?
This is for a new bot.
Yeah, new bot, new person.
New bot, new person.
I've got one.
Okay,
All right.
please go.
Because I feel like this could tell us. So this is an actual question then, rather than random one. So my question is: should I remain a pescatarian or become fully vegetarian?
Okay. This person is typing.
Do we think that this is really an AI, or do we think that there's like a building full of people on keyboards typing somewhere
Keanu Reeves
overseas?
tonight at 9:21 p.m. on a Sunday
Right.
has
that
nothing better
it just
to do.
texts
Answering
Keanu
questions.
Reeves and he texts you back.
All right. Well, when it comes to matters of personal choice and lifestyle, I believe in embracing what feels right for you. As an entrepreneur and lifestyle enthusiast, I've always championed individuality and self-expression. Both pescatarianism and vegetarianism have their merits, whether it be for personal health, environmental impact, or ethical reasons.
Okay, I have a guess.
All right.
Is it Malcolm Gladwell?
Oh, interesting. No.
Is it John Cena on LinkedIn?
All of your guesses are John Cena. They're just
No,
John
I
Cena.
think that's...
Is it Mark Cuban?
That, yeah, I
Oh,
got a little Mark
interesting.
Cuban.
Okay. I feel like if we're playing hot or cold in a very qualitative way, I would say we're getting hotter.
Oh, this is good. We should do hot and cold. I think that's good.
Yeah.
But I got a very like sort of thinks of themselves sort of as very enlightened, and that's like a part of the part of the deal, part of the brand.
Interestingly, while I would never have thought to describe this person that way, I would say absolutely spot on, David. I would never be like, this is someone who thinks of themselves as very enlightened, but yes.
So Armet, your guess was?
Gwyneth Paltrow again.
Also Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
She thinks of herself as incredibly enlightened for sure. No, this is famous person Hugh Hefner.
I don't know.
if that sounds like Hugh Hefner.
I don't know.
He believes in embracing what feels right to you. I don't know. How do you think Hugh Hefner
that
feels
sentence is
about-
very Hugh Hefner.
I'd say that was Hugh Hefner, and that it hewed somewhat closely.
I'm
to
looking
be
at
Hugh Hefner.
I'm looking at two different websites, and I want to briefly say that Eternal AI, the site that Hugh Hefner appears on, also provides you an AI generated video clip of the famous person who you can then have say it to you. So right now, Hugh Hefner is just like staring at me, kind of like, and he has been. It's making me super uncomfortable.
Yeah, that sounds more realistic. If he's making you super uncomfortable, I feel like they nailed it.
Yes. All right. Let's
do one more.
One more question.
If you could eat dinner with one historical figure, who would you eat dinner with and why?
Great question.
I'll tell you a funny story when we're done with this one.
Very good.
Otherwise, it'll ruin it. All right.
Okay.
Oh no, I have no.
What?
No,
Was the question too good?
No, it told me I had unlimited free messages, but it wants to know personal things about me. Hold on.
Just tell them whatever they want to know. That couldn't possibly be for bad reasons. It's Oprah, for Christ's sakes.
Give it a fake email.
That's fine. Okay. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think I would have to choose Joan of Arc. She's such an inspirational figure and someone I admire greatly. Her story of courage and determination, despite living in a time where women were discriminated against, is truly awe-inspiring. Plus, she was a fashion icon in her own way, and I'm dying to know what she would add to my wardrobe.
Okay.
And then it gave me a picture of some old-timey movie where someone was acting as Joan of Arc. I should probably know who, but I don't.
I have a guess.
Okay.
Tyra Banks.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Lady Gaga.
David is correct.
What? Whoa! Good one.
Hot as you can get. There it is.
Wow.
That was fun. I liked this
Yeah.
game. That was a fun game.
It was funny. Something about just the speech pattern of that one, you immediately knew it was a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, ooh, that's a tough one.
The fashion thing,
And the
that doesn't
fashion
have
thing,
to be
yeah.
a woman, but it feels...
But even before you got to that, I was thinking of different women that could be.
It was either
about
a woman or John Cena on Tumblr.
Zoe, I loved that. That was
Yeah, it was a good
incredible.
time.
I loved it.
Yeah.
What a good time.
Get out there, ask some famous people, put it's characters.ai and eternal.ai. You can get out there and get all the answers you didn't know you needed to questions you didn't have.
Get coerced and giving them all sorts of private information.
That's right. They have my Google email address. What's the worst that could happen?
What possibly bad could happen?
If my routing number were...
Yeah. What do you say we move in to our game? Let's move on. Let's get into it. Let's play our game. A long day in the dungeon has come to a close. You've put an end to the flesh warpers, and you've started scratching into the mysteries of the prison floor and the devils that reside there. And you're heeding the beckoning call of Otari for some time to celebrate your successes, recover from your hardships, and put the pieces together for the next steps on your mission to make sure the weapon at Gauntlight's core stays silent. So we left off when you were heading into the town of Otari itself. Right now, it's right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the afternoon of the 16th of Serenith. It's a beautiful late spring, early summer day. There's a high in the 60s. There's a light breeze tickling the long grasses that flank the trail leading back to town. The skies are blue with maybe a couple fluffy clouds hanging in the air.
Question.
Yes.
Sounds so beautiful.
What's the dew point?
They
Yeah,
didn't
we have a
do, they didn't
point.
do it this today. They decided
What?
not to.
There just
The-
was no dew?
Yeah, the town called a meeting.
Oh.
There was a raucous fight in the town hall. Obviously, Mayor Menhemez on one side. On the other side, Rab Churtel. And they argued
Yeah.
about should we have a dew point, should we not have a dew point, and they abolished them forever.
Oh wow.
It's a shame you were in
Wow.
the dungeon this morning because you would have been able to see that scene play out
And
firsthand.
boat, I assume, right?
Maybe if we ever, start doing premium podcasts, that can be bonus content. The town hall meeting in which dew points were abolished forever. I think they instituted capital punishment on anybody who brings up dew points from that point forward.
Oh, wow.
It was intense.
Draconian. Yeah.
It was a level of, I'll say it, legislative overreach that I think the town will never come back from.
So I'm gonna spend the rest of the episode rolling up a new character since Ao's gone.
She's gone. She brought it up.
Yeah, that's it, and it's over.
It's over. But yeah, I have no. It's a 20. It's a 69 dew point.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
it's nice.
If we could say.
If you could say. What are we doing? It's the afternoon. What's happening with the group as they reapproach the town?
Well, I imagine Trill's kind of limping along. Like, yeah, she got healed, but I think she's still aching and sore after the rough end to their day in the dungeon.
Yeah, the party is freaked out right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so Trill is she walking right now? Is Matt carrying her? What's happening?
I think we healed enough
she in the
that everyone
couch?
is able to leave the dungeon on their own reconnaissance. I mean, if it would be more comforting to Trill, she could sort of koala bear onto Mag as long as she wants, as long as we're out of initiative.
Is there a specific Trill folder within the bag of holding?
She doesn't go in the bag of holding. She goes
Oh,
in Mag's
okay.
pouch. They're two
Okay,
different things.
Sorry, I apologize.
In for 60 seconds, out for 60 seconds to breathe, back in.
Right. It's like,
Sorry.
have you ever worn a baby carrier in the front, but then you still have the diaper bag as like a backpack?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I've done that. I do that all the time.
So that's kind of what we're working with here.
The diaper bag of holding.
The diaper bag.
Now there's some merch we can all get.
That is absolutely.
Yeah, that is good.
Boy, oh boy.
I don't know if anything's going to happen this episode, but I think it's possible that we will get at least 5 new ideas for merch. And if that's all that comes out of this, I'm going to call this one a
That's
W.
fine.
Yeah.
But I think there had been some talk before of relaxing at Crow's Cask with a drink. So I think Trill's definitely.
Yeah.
I need something to. So I need a pick me up. I need something. Magaloy's always got such good drinks.
Absolutely. I could use one. And a shower. I think I still have growthlet on me.
Oh, it never leaves. It's always there. Oh.
That's the worst news I've heard in a long time.
And if you ask around, people will tell you that it'll come out with lemon juice and vinegar. But nothing comes out with lemon juice and vinegar.
Sounds like it would replace one scent with a combination of scents that, while initially and individually could be quite good, but combined would be arguably worse than the growthlet.
It's not covering. They just blend together.
The whole
Right.
idea that you would try to make something more appealing by soaking it in vinegar has never made sense to me.
You don't
lot
like a
of people
pickle?
are into it.
Ooh, can we get pickles?
I can go for some pickles.
Yeah, I think everybody here knows. I mean, Magaloy at Crow's Cask is an alchemical whiz. She definitely has pickles. Right?
Fabulous.
Even
like
cocktails
that's-
with pickles.
I wonder
Absolutely.
what kind of pickles they have.
She's got those like Bloody Marys that are just a bucket
Ah.
filled with skewers and sausages
Yes,
and
please.
pickles and stuff.
Pickled cucumber, pickled onion, pickled radish,
Ooh.
pickled green bean.
So Trill has a whole like Forrest Gump style like soliloquy, but about
Pickle obsession.
pickles.
Depending on the color of the food you're pickling that can then change the whole liquid and then it dyes the whole. Pickling's magical.
To brine or not to brine? That is the question. Whether it is nobler to suffer the salts and vinegars of outrageous flavor.
In an effort to quiet him, Ao hands Istin whatever the cocktail of the afternoon is.
Meanwhile, Mag is scribbling it down verbatim because that is extremely good writing.
So that moment of Ao handing the cocktail to Istin is basically as the four of you push through the doors to Crow's Casks. Today is a wheel day, which, of course, we all know maps onto the real-world day of
Friday. No.
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Oh, okay, right, sure.
And the special today is in fact a pickleback sort of alchemical kind of beer thing, and Ao manages to snatch one off of the bar and pass it over to Istin as the four of you settle in for some time at Magaloy's bar. This, of course, is the bar that is defined by these strange drinks and the more middle-class clientele that chooses to spend their time here and get their drink on here.
Pure thieves.
As you settle down to start drinking, you notice that there's a pair of customers sitting there across the bar on the other side of the room. And you recognize one of them, but you're not quite sure who the other one is. The woman that you recognize is Whirlywin, the lead druid at Stone Ring Pond. And she is sitting with somebody who has their back to you wearing a black cloak. But by around the time that Magaloy comes through and starts handing the drinks that you've ordered to you for your first round, that stands out to you among the typical clientele here.
I trill my elbow. Ao.
I think one of us could, sneak around unnoticed and see who Whirlywind's talking to? Black cloak, that always raises alarms for me.
It raises alarms for me, Trill, Ao says, and as Trill has been saying that, she's turned into a black cloaked... I think of it as the Drow version of the Count from Sesame Street. She's a little tipsy.
The Drow Count, of course.
Yeah, the Drow Count. And she sidles over to the bar in this completely unnecessary costume, which is to say, a costume for Ao.
Yeah. Where is the red hat, the telltale red hat that you're wearing as the Drow Count? She's
wearing the hood, I think, of the, in my mind. I assume this cloaked figure has a hood on. You said hood?
Yes.
And Ao has a matching hood, except if you look at the very top 2 inches or so, it's red.
Got it. So as Ao gets closer, she hears Whirlywind's voice.
No, it's fine. It's okay. Listen, this is all gonna be fine. You don't need to be so worried.
That kind of reassuring, but sort of subterfuge kind of language.
I always say we get 7 mistakes each day. 1 mistake. Ao butts in.
And Whirlywin doesn't know who you are, doesn't recognize you. She sort of jolts back, and she looks flummoxed. She's like,
"Oh, yes, of course, another cloaked figure here. Look, everything is okay."
And the person that she is sitting with pulls their cloak in even tighter and turns away from you, never making eye contact with you. And Whirlywin just goes, sighs.
She says, I'm so sorry. Please, we don't get a lot of subterranean entities here, and welcome to the above ground where we have trees and nature and flowers and all kinds of interesting things that that I'm sure that you're happy to enjoy as you're drinking during the afternoon here.
I am finding the daylight hours are many. There are a 1 hour of daylight, a 2 hour. Ao drones on.
And another person in the cloak is like, stands up, and just you hear this voice say, I can't do this. This was a mistake. And you manage to catch the candlelight on the face of Keelino Lathanar. And he, the owner of the general store, who had a problem with Whirlywin. He believed that she was responsible for, or that her druids are responsible for his wife's death.
Right. Yeah.
Was he making amends?
And he sort of stammers and says, I'm sorry, this won't work. Excuse me. And he pulls his cloak tight over his head and he rushes away. And Whirlywin immediately adopts this body language where she leans back against the wall, throws her head back, and sighs as she rolls her eyes, and she says,
Well, I can't say I'm exactly pleased with you for having frightened him away. I feel like we were just getting to know each other. Do you ever have problems with men and how they're just hard for them to open up? They hold on to things for too long.
Ao sort of ponders this in her drow form, and she goes, the men I know open up a lot, but a lot of it is not true.
Well, I'll take even that. Maybe I should head down to the Darklands, I suppose.
I also like that my count has become like an Italian mobster. I don't know.
become.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
Spent.
There's a roving sort of
That's
lineage.
called good character
Yeah,
work,
it's
you know? Nuance.
as well thought through as the disguise itself.
I don't know. I sort of imagine AO attempting accents more than preparing them.
That's fair. And Ao looks at her in this and sort of cocks her head, and she goes, "You look like you need a friend."
Well, of course, we could all use more friends. Why don't you sit down? What was your name again?
Count Smith Counterson.
Count Smith Counterson.
Counterson.
Count Smith Counterson?
Count Smith Counterson.
Count Smith Counterson?
It's hyphenated at the end. It is Count
Where's
Smith
the hyphen?
Counterson.
Count
Between Smith and Counterson.
Smith?
The middle name is Thomas Trevor. That is not hyphenated. It's all one word.
Count
Thomas
Trevor
Count
Smith Counterson?
Smith Counterson.
So was
Correct.
Smith was your mother or your father? I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with
I had
Drowish naming practices.
it was my grandfather,
So she.
Smith Counterson.
Your grandfather was named Smith Counterson? He had a hyphenated first name?
Smith Counter, and then my father, Counterson,
Oh, I see.
son of, but my father became tired, and so I am Count Trevor Thomas.
He became
Counterson.
he couldn't fill out the Underdark paperwork that you were filling out.
No, it's
later
so
on.
dark. So it's not enough light.
Isn't that just like a man, though? You know, he suggests
yes.
that he's going to go through with something. He agrees to have a drink with you, just have a nice time, and then he shows up in a strange cloak, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you and your cloak that you're wearing, but
I think a 1, a 2, a 3 men have been letting you down. This one, number 3?
yes. Wait, what? Yes.
What
3.
happened? How did that a 3rd man, after a 1, a 2, a 3 men, let you down?
I have to say, this accent is throwing me for a loop.
Each sentence is a different accent.
And she says, listen, when we're alone, we have a very nice time talking. We have so much in common with each other. But it has been very hard for him. When he can relax, he's a very nice man, but I'm worried that he won't be able to get past. I don't need to get into it. It's actually a rather grisly story, but it's been nice. In private.
Oh, so they've been dating?
I love this
Whoa.
idea.
Into it. I ship it, for sure.
But he's like, I get it. Like his heart's all like, it's a maze. It's a enigma. He's all tightened up, and he can't let go of his past concepts of reality. Talk about
Well,
some
and then-
cognitive dissonance.
Sure, there's also, mixed emotions from like the
That's
loss
what
of
I'm
his
saying,
wife.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. Same
Dating
thing.
the woman he
Aw.
believed for years may have killed her. I mean, it's got to be tough.
Could get
Yeah,
confusing.
that has to introduce some complexities.
I could see some, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ao sort of nods sagely at this, and she's like, "You like him?"
I don't know if I like him, but I do enjoy his company. He's suffered so much, and I guess in a way I have also suffered the same thing that he has. And I don't mean to burden you, but he comes off. There's a lot of exterior there, but there's something inside as well. Within the clouds, there are small lightning bolts just waiting to come out.
Ao rolls astrology lore to try and understand this metaphor. She nods sagely. She says, "Yes, but he seems to carry much darkness in the face area, and maybe in the heart."
Yes, I think that's true. I just hope that he's... Now listen to me, I'm just pouring out my guts to a stranger. A very stranger. And,
Ao giggles, appreciating the pun.
oh, thank you. I'm known for my wordplay. I hope we can figure it out. He's tough, he's tough.
Maybe too tough.
Could be, yes. Well, I should go. Thank you for, this strange time. Goodbye.
One goodbye. Two goodbye. Three goodbye.
I had no idea the Drow were as mathematical as you are. You learned something. I spend my days looking up at the storm clouds, trying to find the meaning within nature, and I realize now there's many things that I don't understand down beneath my feet. Goodbye.
Ao waves. Gets up and goes to a different corner to change back into herself to spare anyone else she might interact with that same character or accent.
Appreciate it.
So what's happening now at the bar? What do you think? There's anything else that you guys want to talk about, or are you just sort of having a tense? What's the vibe? What's the vibe at the bar?
I think when Ao, did Trill go also, or just Ao?
It was just
No, Trill.
AO
It was
went
just
solo.
Ao. Trill suggested. She's like, one of us should go, and then Ao
Got it.
was dressed up and did Ao.
While Ao is off, Mag is has had enough time to unwind since the pretty harrowing encounter that marked the end of the day's adventure. And she's been reflecting on the way home about everything they've been through this day and what a contrast it was from the previous day's adventures in one very particular respect. And she turns to Isthin and locks eyes with him and says, Isthin, before we go any further through this afternoon or beyond, I owe you a word of thanks. And I owe you perhaps a debt. Perhaps two.
What are you talking about?
twice since we set out today, your skill and your forethought, I think, have saved my life. I can't recall a time I've known someone with quite your capabilities. And whatever spell it was you cast on me to toughen my skin.
Oh, yeah, stone skin. That was brilliant.
More brilliant, I think, than even you realize. I think without that enchantment, I don't know that I would have made it through that fight.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mag. I've seen you in action now. I think you would have made it through that just fine without me, but I'm glad I was able to help. Honestly, I felt terrible about how badly we got off on the wrong foot yesterday. And again, I want to apologize. I was being rude and condescending, and in truth, I don't think I've ever worked with anyone who could swing a blade or wield a hammer with the ferocity and the determination you have. I mean, the way you went after that Chernicoff behavior gave me chills. Anyway, it's a two-way street, is all I'm saying. I'm glad it worked out. You looked bloody terrifying with that stone skin. Like a horrible, awful golem come to life, ready to wreak havoc on Chernicoffs and Grothlets and devils alike.
The barest hint of a smile passes across Mag's lips before fading quickly away. She lifts her drink a couple of inches off the table and, without looking at Isthin, looking sort of down at the surface of the table, says, "Well, I'll take that as a compliment," and offers her glass up for cheers.
And Isthin will clink glasses with her and say, "Well, it was certainly the spirit it was offered in."
And Mag downs the rest of her. What's Mag drinking? Lager.
It's actually a special lager that I call log. It's made out of wood.
I barely know her.
Mag swirls the beverage around in her mouth a little bit. And she comes from a logging family. So she gulps it down. She turns to Magaloy and says, cedar?
Cedar?
Wait, 1 second. That was like half Macaulay,
I
half
barely
Whirly
know
Wind.
her.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Well, no, we don't want any accents to be like right pure.
No, you don't want
No.
to. You don't want to nail
You
it.
need a, yeah.
Yeah, this is
Then
a
what are you going to
hybrid
keep listening
accent.
to the show for, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, they got the accents right. I'm done.
Yeah. No, this is not the people I know and
The
love.
tension's gone. Magaloy says, cedar and a little something special. She leans in and she's like, beer.
Oh, now that you mention it, I can taste that too.
Oh, Magaloy, by the way, and Istin kind of frowns and looks off to the side. I'll be checking out today. I'm relocating. And he sort of scratches at the back of his head and sort of looks off. And he looks to Maggie and says, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go grab my things from my room.
Magaloy turns to the remainder of you as Istin slips upstairs, and she says, well, it would be nice if those of you who are staying here, aside from that tall drink of water, decide to stay here, because I'll tell you, having some of the future heroes of Atari here staying at the inn has been quite good for business. And you look around the room after she says that, and you realize that a number of the people who are typically enjoying who would typically be enjoying their drinks are looking at you, are keeping tabs on your conversation. Like, people know who you are, and people are excited to share a tavern with you. And maybe then Istin comes back down from upstairs.
Yeah, and he sort of plonks his bag next to the table where they're sitting. For some reason, I'm getting a booth vibe. Are we a booth crew?
Yeah, I think we're
one of those
boothing.
big round booths. Maybe everyone has to kind of scoot awkwardly around.
Oh, yeah, I
Trill
love
can
that.
just crawl right under it. That works fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mag needs to sit on the end. There's no way she's getting in the middle, all the way to the middle without knocking something over.
Right, she picks people up and moves them in.
That's right. Yeah.
Totally.
Here's-
And
yeah.
thinking of us in a booth, Trill kind of crawls under the booth for a minute, and without anyone seeing, she's going into the bag of holding.
Oh.
And she comes back up, and it seems like she's a little lost of breath from carrying something. And she comes back up to the table and looks at Istin.
So, are you going away? What's happening? Because I might have something for you.
Oh no, I'm not leaving town. I'm just, well, to be perfectly honest, I think it's time I go through Haplo's house. I've got the key, and he plops it on the table, and it kind of chunks into place. And to be honest, I've been putting it off. I feel a bit of trepidation about going there. I just don't know. And he rubs at the back of his head again. What am I going to find there? Oh, if anyone wants to come and see the new digs, I'd love the company.
Oh, well, this is perfect.
And Trill, with like all of her weight, hoists this book up onto the table.
Because this is something that I think Haplo would have really liked, and you're probably the only person who has any use for it.
And she shoves towards Istin the Thresholds of Truth, which was in the bag of holding, which was Zarmavdian's spellbook.
Zarmavdian, of course, the wizard of the Rose Guard, whom, according to the ghost of Otari Ilvashti, unleashed the fireball that struck Otari down, leading Otari to wander through the first floors of the Abomination vaults nearly 500 years ago.
This is brilliant! Oh, Trill, I love it. This is amazing. I cannot wait to go through this. I wonder if he has any thoughts on what qualifies, really getting into the nitty-gritty semiotics of magic, because I think that's so underexplored. I mean, current sigil theory is...
I can't read a thing in here, but, your dad, he was all about Rose Guard lore, so this is something that I think, we haven't really dealt with it yet. We haven't really processed it, but I think it would have meant a lot to him to be able to look through Zarmavdian's spellbook.
Right, yeah. No, I'm sure that is the case. I expect you knew him better than I do, really.
I mean, maybe?
So you think back to it, we really only knew him for like 2 days. One day. I'm sorry. One day.
Or we've known Istin twice as long as we knew Haplo.
Yeah, I guess Mag and Ao have had some passing familiarity with him, but as far as actual making your acquaintance type interaction.
And I'll say, if Istin takes a look at this book, the arcane language that Istin is using, like, did he do this, did he do that? Like, you open the pages of Thresholds of Truth, and you get the sense that, yes, that's the wavelength that Zarmavdian was on for sure, but perhaps you also see a little bit of your father in the spell book, knowing that he committed some of his life to the arcane arts and would have been obsessive about this book. This book that to you is maybe, the way that you're describing it, maybe interesting in an intellectual way. I think you can probably tell that for Hapla would have been a deeply absorbing emotional experience to read.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Istin loves it because he loves exotic books.
And this is definitely that.
Yeah, but as he sort of makes the connection with his dad, he's a little less eager to page through it, I would say. But yeah, anyway, if any of you want to come have a drink over there, maybe we can bring something, because I won't know if he's even got anything to drink over there. Well, we could at least paw through his shit.
Ao, who's been Norman at the table because it's a night out drinking, and why not be Norman? That post Drow with a perfect accent, looks up at the paw through stuff, and she goes, he goes, you getting rid of some stuff?
I mean, almost certainly. Yeah, we can even bet on it. Person who finds the best thing gets a extra drink, eh? Takers? Any takers? Oh, Trilassie, that's a little bit of a smile.
You know me, I love looking for stuff.
I like taking it, and Norman throws his arm around us. Then.
I bet there's got to be a good bottle of something somewhere in that house.
Right? Something's got to be fun.
And you may not need it, because the people listening to and watching, overseeing your conversation, seem to have chipped in to buy you a bottle of the nicest whiskey at the bar.
Aw.
Magaloy drops it over by the table and says, "This one's on the house." Well, not exactly the house, but these folks here wanted to chip in. If you're heading off somewhere else, we want to make sure the party doesn't stop now.
I love that it's also like 12:30 right now.
Yeah.
So
it's like
early
2
in the
p.m.?
day.
Yeah, I'd say at this point it's maybe about 3 p.m.
Okay. Oh, it's 5
so we're
o'clock
getting
somewhere.
into respectable territory then.
Yeah.
On a summer Friday, this is totally acceptable. Unfortunately, it's a spring Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday is the thing.
Well, surely it's fired us somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
So it sounds like the party's moving on.
Yeah, I think Mag takes the bottle from Magaloy and turns back to Istin. I wonder, given your father's abiding interest in the Rose Guard, and then Mag raises her voice ever so slightly as she says this next bit, and the troubling things we've learned about the Rose Guard's true history. She looks around a little bit to see if any of the people in the bar are picking up on what she's referencing on her previous attempt to disclose
I'm rolling a flat check.
Zarmavdian's treachery.
This is a DC 6 flat check to decide what the reaction is that Mag sees. Okay.
I think given Mag's character, whatever is the highest I could possibly roll on this, the DC should be 2 more than that. Like I don't know. Are people ever?
But they're turning.
All right,
They're starting to like us. I feel like
All
there's
right,
a
here's
chance that you start to get in.
Here's a D6.
No, not a D6. A DC 6 flat check. A D20, please.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. You did roll a 6 in your D6 though, so you passed the flat check.
Oh man.
Okay, so you rolled an 8 on that secret flat check that you rolled, which means that Mag maybe doesn't see the people who are afraid. She instead sees a twerpy little dude at the end of the bar being like, "That's Mag. There's Mag again, doing Mag stuff."
Cassandra.
Mag looks his way and says,
And they're
And,
like, I'm sorry. And they run out the door of the bar.
And Mag puts the bottle in her pouch. At any rate, Istin, I wonder if he might have something from his scholarship that could shed further light on any of the mysteries below the keep.
Absolutely. I mean,
And Norman grabs the whiskey bottle and says, "Let's get looking for stuff. The drink comes with us." And swaggers out of the bar.
I knew I liked him.
So the
I
four
like
of
the
you,
idea that Istin isn't still totally clear that Norman and Ao are the same. He just thinks like a new person
Totally.
has joined the
Yeah,
party.
Takes some getting used to, yeah.
Or just like someone random who keeps jumping in at times, and
Right.
then like it's
Right.
like a tag team duo or something.
like a mascot. Is Norman the mascot of the group? Is that what we're doing?
It's tricky.
So you put. It sounds like you're pushing on to Haplo's house
Definitely.
to continue drinking and to see what you can find in Haplo's belonging.
What a cool idea.
And I'll say, I'll break the fourth wall. This is something that Armat put together. I'm very excited to see how it works out. Very awesome. Okay. So you follow the road out of town to the west, which is towards Gauntlet, but then you turn south to walk down a wooded path to a small cottage on a bluff overlooking the sea. The yard is overgrown and neglected. The cottage is built around a hearth made of river stone with a thatched roof. In the front yard is a small garden, and in the yard stands a rusted tripod for a telescope, though the telescope is missing. In the backyard, as you walk around the cottage, there are various exercise and training tools for martial techniques, pells for striking with swords and hands, and an extensive collection of wine bottles set up on stumps, presumably for target practice. One gets the sense that Haplo might have enjoyed casting some electrical magic, an electric arc, while drinking and training back here. It sounds like Istin is leading the way. How does Istin have a sense of where this is? This is a place that he's heard of? This is a place that he's got some connection to?
I think he's looking at a letter from Haplo's solicitor, who probably works in Absalom rather than living out in Otari. And so this is probably the letter he got, informing him about Haplo's passing.
So this is like one of those situations where maybe it's like you're looking at this letter, you're like, is this the place? Is that the place?
Exactly.
But then
Yeah,
when you
totally.
see these telltale wine bottles blown up in the backyard, any question has been answered. So you push through the door to the cottage, and inside, it's chaos. Haplo, it seems, was something of a hoarder. Books, scrolls, and loose-leaf parchment spill off the small cottage's shelves, along with various curios, relics, and other odd items. And this is practically going to be a dungeon crawl, just figuring out what is here. Before we move on, I want to get a sense of, is there any reaction to the group about what it is that they're seeing?
Trill's just like,
Whoa,
I'll grab the bottle from Norma.
I'm gonna need a drink. Ooh, oh, this is good. This is snow whiskey. This is good.
Made from gnomes.
I don't think Mag registers much from this, both because she's the strong silent type and because I think the lack of order, sort of being on the outskirts of town and there just being a lot of stuff around and things are left where they are has some similarity to the home she grew up in.
So maybe the Strikes Mag is as good a place to drink as any. As you sort of settle in to this room packed to the gills with paraphernalia and mementos of this person who was so important to the trajectory of your life, even though you knew him for such a short length of time. And we're going to do something now. And that is that as you're sitting here in the house, sharing this bottle of whiskey, picking up things of interest, eventually you're going to find something worthy of cataloging, of commenting on, of coming to terms with. And the way that we're going to do that is everybody is going to roll a d20. We're going to roll on a table to see what it is that you find
Like that.
here in Haplo's cottage. So we're gonna go one at a time. Looks like we're starting with Trill. Robin, what do you think you're uncovering? What do you think Trill is looking at as she finds this item of note?
I think Trill is being lower to the ground. She tends to go for stuff a little lower. So she's looking at some piles underneath a window.
And what did you roll?
Oh, and she rolled an 8. Just
So-
not great.
You sift through this pile of things under the window as you're maybe marveling at the quality of this whiskey that you're drinking.
Definitely no whiskey.
And you find a bottle. So your hand brushes up against an intact, feels like thick glass bottle.
I told you we'd find something good here.
And you lift this bottle to your face and you see that it's a ship in a bottle of
Oh, I can't drink that.
disappointed to find that it's actually a model of a ship. It's an elven ship. It has the ornate woodwork and a beautiful hand-carved look of an elven ship. And you see that it has a name on the back of it. The Pequod II.
Oh.
Where would an elven ship like this, that the model's based on, where would this be used, this type of ship? What would it be used for?
I don't know. Does Iston have insights into that kind of thing? Does he have any conclusions to draw from this?
I think he would know that from his mom that Haplo, his parents came from Kionin, so could it be a Kionese?
It's not Kionin.
It could be. I certainly couldn't say it. A cargo ship or a. Yeah, I think that's what.
Because I'm trying to think if this would be the type of ship that Trill came over to Trill took to get to Absalom.
Could be.
If Trill ever befriended elves, that seems like a reasonable conclusion to draw.
I mean, that was just, I think she just took passage on a ship that was coming over.
So this ship reminds Trill of her life on the road, her travels.
Yeah.
Is Ao still Norman?
Yeah, I think Ao's stuck in Norman mode. I mean, it was Norman who knew Haplo best, too, so I think it sort of shifts from being a party tactic to she feels like that's the person who should be there paying homage and stealing things.
And Norman's slippery fingers, where is he searching around in this packed, sentimental
He's
space?
looking through, I imagine there's some sort of old rickety bookcase somewhere in this cottage with Haplo's research, and Norman's looking to see if he had any maps or treasures. He has had, and Ao has used all along Haplo's journal, where she's been, furiously writing down angsty teen thoughts that she would die of embarrassment if anyone saw the light of day. But she's sort of drawn to his writing and his research and his books, and is also hoping maybe there's a map to floor 8 where all the gold is in the dungeon or whatever.
Well, I think that what you find here sort of captures the duality of Haplo. You're looking through like research papers, maps, that kind of thing. And you realize that in the middle of this very arcane-oriented section of the room is where Haplo also happened to store his sword belt, an object of hand-to-hand combat. Just happens to be stowed here among the more esoteric elements. And you find inside of that sword belt, stuck in there, an ancient alchemical potion, which you recognize as an elixir of life.
Oh.
What quality?
Not great. No, it's okay. It's a level 5 one. It's a level 5 elixir of life. The lesser, it gives you 3d6 plus 6 hit points.
Okay.
Does Isthan draw any conclusions on that?
Would have been
I think
helpful for him to have it when he died. No?
Mhm.
Too soon? We didn't process
I mean,
that?
that's what I was thinking. Why didn't he
Oh,
have this
shit.
sword belt with him?
Ruthless.
well, I think Isten would think, well, I guess he just kind of left things where he dropped them. It's a bit harebrained.
Yeah, and maybe looking around this room, you do get the sense that the logic, if Isthan had any question of whether or not Haplo is eccentric, I think the eccentricities are coming through loud and clear here. Who's searching next? There's only one person, so that means it's David. David, are you searching next?
Yes.
Or is it Hugh Hefner?
Or are you going to say no and I just sit here until I die of thirst?
Yeah. I'm not interested in searching.
Yeah.
And just then, triplets burst into the room.
We are back.
Quadruplets.
Yeah.
We have found a number of twins upon twins.
We come from the same place as the person in the bar with the hat. Yes, Mag would like to search. Wang will do some searching too. I guess to the extent she's like looking for anything in particular, it runs along the lines of what she said back before we set out in this direction, which is that she's convinced Haplo might have some sort of have tucked away something Roseguard related that could shed some light on the dungeon's mysteries. And that's a 9. I rolled a 9.
And you find this item that you encounter now in a particularly dusty stack of documents in the corner of the room. It's a pile of journals, maps, and various histories of the Isle of Kortos, reaching back to Earthfall and the story of Eredin raising the Isle from the Inner Sea itself.
Okay.
These histories, as you sift through them and continue drinking over the hour or 2 hours that this gathering is happening in, these histories have been marked up significantly by Haplo, covered with notes and other marginalia as he attempted to unravel the secrets of the past.
Is that a cooking recipe he included there? Yeah. Fricasseed chicken with a pesh spice. Is that even legal here? I thought pesh was very illegal.
What is that?
It's one of the drugs they provide as an alchemical formula in the source books.
Ooh.
And maybe as you reach the final drops at the bottom of this bottle of whiskey, it's getting to be later on in the day.
It burns so good.
You're not wrong.
The sun is starting to go down. It's maybe around 6:30, 7 at night. That as you're starting to pack up to leave, to head home for the evening, to get some rest, to recover from the day's emotional and physical challenges, Isthan finds something. Where does Isthan find this thing, Armat?
I think he's looking through the mess that is on Haplo's desk, his writing desk, and there are some scrolls and other bits of paper in cubbies above the desk for stuff he wanted to reference while he was writing. And there he finds an unposted letter addressed to him in a sealed envelope.
The name Isthan written on the envelope itself.
Interestingly, his last name is also Smith Counterson, which
Yeah. From the long line of Smith counters.
Mm.
So what does Isthan do as he finds this letter?
I think being a little tipsy, he'll just sort of tear it open and look at it and start to read it, probably aloud. But if y'all are willing, I'd like to try and do this in Haplo's voice.
Oh, I love it.
Please.
Love it.
So it's like
I
this
missed
is
him.
what Isthan is hearing in his own head as he's reading this letter.
Dear Isthanavel, I've tried to write this letter many, many times, and each time, like a coward, I find I am left to retreat to the comfort and silence of my cottage, with what I want to say still left unpenned. Your mother has written me to let me know you've gone and joined an adventuring company, and has asked me to write to you to dissuade you from such a dangerous path. I can't help but wonder if whatever it was in me that made me run away from my commitments to you both, my inability to curb my obsession with the Rose God and that damned lighthouse, I cannot help but wonder if some form of that single-minded mania has been passed down to you. Then I chide myself for making a moment that is yours all about your old distant father, which is not fair nor helpful. And I am torn, I confess, to have heard the news. For while I know this world holds many precious things that you are sure to discover thereby, like the joy of comradeship and the delights of fine food and drink, but there too are bitternesses and griefs that I would spare you from yet. One advantage of having lived a very, very long time is to know that while the moment of pain may pass, there are certain injuries whose scars will never fade. And one such scar, for me, is the extent to which I have failed you as a father. You are blessed to have one parent who you deserve at least. Your mother works tirelessly for your health, your education, and your happiness. And so you should not make her worry unduly. Yet as one who has time and time again chosen the selfish path of my own dreams of adventure, how could I say to you to not pursue this path? It would be better to tell you to become a baker or a clerk, or some other profession where one is at far less risk of violent exsanguination. But I cannot, and will not. My son, you have my congratulations and admiration, although my heart tells me that by offering this approval I fail you and your mother yet again. Instead, let me see if I cannot aid you on your chosen path, at least by a token amount. I hope you could make use of the staff enclosed in the parcel. When you are ready to use it, you should be able to solve its riddle. If ever you require proof that, despite my myriad failings as a father, I count you as the greatest, and yes, the most unexpected accomplishment within my long life. So if you require that proof, then look only to this staff, and know that wherever you travel in this world, so too do you travel in my heart. Perhaps on your next return to Absalom, you could come and stay with me for a few days. I would dearly love to hear all the stories I am sure you will have. Sincerely, Dallin Haplavel Wallace.
Aww.
And in that desk, underneath that pile of letters, Isthan finds this staff, referred to in the letter. What does this look like?
It looks beautiful, but elegant and slender. It's like a long 6-foot staff, tapped with strong rivets and metal end caps, but done in a flowing, elegant fashion. It looks almost elven in terms of the workmanship. But there's some small carving patterns that repeat throughout the center section of the staff.
So Isthin finishes reading this story aloud, finds this staff hidden below, looks down at this strange puzzle with these strange engravings on it left for him by a father that he basically did not know.
Yeah. So Isthin finishes reading the letter, finds the staff, looks at the two of them, one held in each of his hands, looks up at the others and sort of furrows his brow and says, I think I'm going to need a minute to process all this.
And we'll pick up from there next time.
That was great. Yeah, that was awesome.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit Paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.